Ethan Bennett's stomach heaved, his abdominal muscles tightening painfully and his fingertips digging into and scratching against the coarse bark of the tree next to him. The muscles in his sides, over his ribs, felt like they'd been stretched to their breaking points, like a rubber band pulled taut, and his throat was as rough as sandpaper from coughing. But nothing came up. Not that he'd really expected anything to, once he took all the other mornings from the past couple of months into consideration. It was a miserable thing, being one of the cured infected. The abdominal spasms subsided after the requisite 4 or 5 minutes they usually lasted. He hoped the groans that had slipped from his throat, no matter how much he tried to suppress them, hadn't carried back to their little camp. He didn't want the 2 women he traveled with to worry over him. He had neither the time nor the patience for the inevitable coddling and fussing over him that he knew would result if they realized he was sick. He had a job to do. He wiped a strand of saliva off his bottom lip with a rough swipe of the back of his hand, brushed that same hand over his beard to check for more, and willed himself to stand up straight. His head hurt. Nothing new about that, really, and there wasn't a damn thing he could do about it either. He leaned against the tree, watched his breath cloud in the cold air in front of his face, and took a few moments to collect himself. It was early morning, somewhere around 5:30, a guesstimate since he'd left his watch back at the camp, and still mostly dark, though the landscape was beginning to take on that soft, somewhat sickly blue tinge to it that heralded an impending sunrise. The air smelled frosty, and the forest's undergrowth was covered with a thin layer of frozen-over snow, creating a distinctly wintry scent that reminded him of Christmases past, back when he used to live in an actual house and celebrated that sort of thing. Home, for him, meant Memphis, and he hadn't been back there since the 2nd month of the outbreak, since he'd met Nicola Klein and verified that, yes, his wife was dead and... "No," Ethan said out loud. "Stop it. It's over and done with.